Can you hear me now? Yes. Unmuting does help.
I know.
Got audio?
We have audio, but no video. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Start the business meeting, Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call on the Honorable Judge Salamone to do the swearing of the county board and then do the soil and water after that.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Where would you like to? Right here?
Yeah, you gotta swear.
Yeah.
Bill?
That was actually good.
This will be a group oath, so just repeat after me. I'm going to pause. All right? Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Minnesota.
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota.
And that I will faithfully and impartially execute and discharge.
Faithfully
Impartially. And discharge. The duties of County Commissioner.
County Commissioner,
In the County of Becker.
County of Becker,
State of Minnesota.
State of Minnesota,
According to the law.
according to the law
And the best of my judgment and ability.
and the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
One word at a time.
I was gonna shake hands, but I was premature. I was too excited.
I got to use the gavel last.
I know, I noticed I used it.
I got one here.
Here. I can do that, yeah. She's gonna do the rest.
Soil and water?
Yeah. Okay.
I better help Travis.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of Minnesota.
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
And that I will faithfully
and will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of Soil and Water
the duties of soil and water
Conservation District Supervisor
conservation district supervisor
in the County of Becker,
in the County of Becker,
State of Minnesota,
State of Minnesota,
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my ability
and to the best of my ability
and my judgment,
and my judgment,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
You,
She's dumbed
hey, hey, you guys are way better. Ow.
With that, turn over to Terry. Turn it over to you.
You can't leave yet.
Yeah, you can't leave yet.
No, you have to wait, you have to wait. So we'd like to recognize your, oh wait, I'll wait for them, sorry. You gotta wait a little bit longer. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was, the school's getting him through.
So as a county and a county board, we'd like to recognize your years of service to Becker County. So, and in this plaque, right here, it says, "In recognition for your service and dedication to Becker County, the citizens of Becker County appreciate your 14 years of service from 2011 to 2024. So, on behalf of the board and the citizens of Becker County, I'd like to thank you, John. And also, you bet. And also, I'd like to thank you, as a Greenhorn commissioner, I appreciate all of the veteran leadership that you've shown us and all the things little things that you've talked to us about and shown us what to do. So thank you very much. We're going to miss your wisdom on our county board. So thank you.
It was a pleasure teaching the teacher.
Oh. And then we also have a plaque for you for being the board chair for this last year. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Tom.
With that, I'll turn it over to Carrie for next portion of our business meeting, and I'll step down.
Thank you. I'd like to call Phil. It's your turn to come join us.
Sit in the middle till we have the election and then swap.
Sorry, I
chairs.
should have called you Commissioner. We'll get used to that. So I will call for nominations for board chair, and I'll call 3 times for nominations. Nominations for board chair.
I'll nominate Dave Meyer.
Nominations for board chair. Any other nominations? Third and final time. Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. I will entertain a motion to move forward with assignment of a board chair.
I guess I'm not clear what we usually just, we have one nomination, call for a vote then, or? Yeah.
Correct, a motion and a second, and then vote.
Okay.
Yes,
So I'll make a motion to
appoint.
not, to appoint
Elect.
or elect Commissioner Meyer to chair.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same side. Motion carried.
Thank you.
You want to switch spots?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chairs.
Musical chairs.
Nope. Just there.
Oh, she just cracked me.
It's just a free for all after that. You can just grab your desk and pull it out.
Well, they emptied. Peggy must empty it. She takes care of it.
She takes care of all of us.
All right, so next thing on the agenda is to elect a vice chair. So I will call for nominations 3 times. So do we have any nominations for vice chair?
Mr. Chair, I guess are you, Richard, are you interested at this time?
I'm not comfortable yet, Barry, doing it. I'm not there.
Okay.
And if somebody else is more comfortable, I think somebody else could do a better job than I could do. So that's where I'm at.
Mr. Chair, I'll nominate Erica Jepson.
I'll second it.
Do we have any other nominations for vice chair first?
Mr. Chair, can I stop just for
Yeah.
a second? Phil, you need to raise your chair. You look like a little kid sitting there. That's kind of weird.
I cannot fit my knees under this desk without smashing them into the thing here.
That is,
I'm sorry.
it just looks funny here.
It's the way it's gonna be. I can sit back here, I guess, and raise it up, but,
There you go.
well,
Well, I have the same problem.
I'm gonna go down here.
So do we have any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, so no other nominations. We have a second.
I'll second it.
So all in favor of Commissioner Jepson being the vice chair, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chair, I think we need to then make a motion.
Do I have a motion to elect Commissioner Jepson as
as
vice chair?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Commissioner Jepson is our vice chair.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is committee assignments. So Peggy made a sheet in red with some changes, possible changes that we would have to discuss, maybe vote on. So basically, most of the committees that Commissioner Okeson was on, Commissioner Hanson is on now. There are a couple little changes that I would like to propose. On the RAC committee, I would like to have us appoint Commissioner Jepson to the RAC committee in place of me. And then she and I would switch then, and I would take the West Central Initiative. You want to explain the West?
Yep, the West Central Initiative Economic Development Board. So I have the West Central Regional Juvenile Center that same day and the EDA, so it's impossible for me to make it to all those meetings. So I thought it would be better to have somebody else on the West Central Initiative Economic Development Board.
So which one is that?
The West Central Initiative is number
Yeah.
49,
So you want,
and the RAC is number 38.
Well, now, I was on the Recreational Advisory Committee before as a member, so
Yeah.
I kind of know what's a few things that are going on there. So I would be off that.
No,
Nope, you're on it.
You're on it. You're still on it.
there's two commissioners
There's two
on it.
commissioners on it.
Yep.
So it's you
So
and,
you'd be back in it.
no, I'd be off, and Commissioner Jepson and you would
Okay,
be on
sure.
it, yeah.
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 I just wanted to make a point, that we don't have the Cornerstone. That is one that
Oh, yeah.
I was on, and that one's just not listed on here. And then I thought we had a tribal relations committee also.
We named it We Committee.
The We Committee.
Yeah,
Our-
I
I
don't.
have a question on the Cornerstone. Is that a county function now, or is that a county?
We appoint.
We did make that
yeah.
We
appointment.
did make that appointment, yeah.
But we have, I mean, I just don't know if it really qualifies for a county. I mean, I guess that's up to us, but what is this? I guess I don't know where that's at, that Cornerstone.
One thing that I think, and I was going to mention this in my report, is that they did just get approved for a family resource center, which I think, or got funding to start a family resource center, which I think is going to be very important to have county involvement. But other than that, you know, we had done it just at that one meeting when they had came and asked for funding, but, so I'm fine either way.
What is your capacity on that board? Are you just a liaison then?
Yep.
You're not
I'm not a voting member.
well, why don't we see how it goes this year and
Yeah.
reconsider it again in the
Yep.
future?
Because I'm assuming that they value you being there because of who you are and your position now.
Right, but we go to a lot of meetings that we don't
Yes,
get.
yes,
I
correct.
mean, we don't recognize as
As
official meetings.
Commissioner. Okay, and then I had there was one more proposed change. The salary, there's two actually. The Salary Review Committee, number 40, I think it has traditionally been the chair and the vice chair, the Salary Review Committee for elected officials. Is that something that we want to change that to? Because before it wasn't listed as chair and vice chair. That's a possibility. And then number 26, I don't know if this one is correct. Labor Negotiations Committee, currently it's not the chair and the vice chair. It was currently Commissioner Okeson and myself. We just happen to be the vice chair and chair. There is an advantage, now that I think about it, there is an advantage to that because we meet in finance and we can also meet after finance with negotiations if we have any issues, but we aren't going to have negotiations for a couple years, so I don't know what the board's feeling is on that. I guess it doesn't matter to me, but we can address that later on because of the timing of the committee is not.
Why don't we just put your names on it, because I don't think it would, I mean, you're going to have, when you get back in negotiations, you're going to want to have some continuity moving through
Yeah,
that.
so
I mean,
let's put,
I don't know who you want to put on it, but I would say you want to,
well,
Yeah, the problem with having chair and vice chair is
Yeah,
you
it
could
change- it's
start
gonna change, yeah.
negotiations and then
good end, yeah, good change.
if it if it's not done by the end of the year, chair and vice chair would change. But I mean, that could happen if it's on an election year also. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
it,
So Phil, would you consider being on the negotiating committee or?
I've got less than zero experience at something like that. But, I mean, I'm always willing to learn.
Chair, I know we discussed Northwest Emergency Communication Board, was it a change there?
Yeah, that was my next, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The reason I'm bringing it up, the agenda is out for next Wednesday.
for tomorrow.
Or is it tomorrow?
Yep.
We moved it up,
So the meeting is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
it's virtual, but
Okay.
Yep.
so whoever's gonna be on there.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Phil.
The one thing I would probably like to get back on, and if, I would like to get back on the zoning ordinance review.
Okay.
If there's no, and it failed out, I think John was on that, I think,
I would like to be on that too.
I do think I think,
Who's currently on that?
Myself and John was on it. I mean, we meet very rarely. I mean, I'm fine if.
right,
I'm fine.
the thing is, we haven't had very many ordinances recently. I've been on that committee for quite a few years, and last year I took myself off. I think this last year, we dropped the ball in our ordinances. I think we had a lot of ordinances that were supposed to be done by a year ago, and we didn't get them done. I'd like to, I guess I'm fine with you staying on it. I think the knowledge of the, the knowledge that I have would serve as a springboard to get some of those done. But if we want, and maybe we meet as I just think we need to move on some of these ordinances, and we've been sitting on for a while.
I would be okay with Barry taking my place on the zoning ordinance review.
Again, they don't meet, and we haven't met, or I don't think you've met.
No, I think
With the ordinance, with the comp plan moving forward, I don't think the ordinance committee's moved because that was supposed to have taken care of most of our ordinances, and it didn't, so.
Yep.
If that's okay, that's okay, yeah, that's okay
Yeah,
with you.
yep,
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay,
I think Barry would be much better on it than me, just because he's understands all that stuff better.
okay, and then the next,
Thank you.
the next committee that I set circled is the Regional Radio Board, which is, the meeting is tomorrow. And I had put my name in there for John, or for Erica, actually.
Well, I think it would be helpful for whoever is on the
Sheriff's
sheriff's
committee,
committee,
yeah.
just
And that-
because it is
And then you would be the
similar.
alternate.
Yeah, as taking John's.
Yeah.
over, yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with me too. So I'll just have to, yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards and get some information.
Yeah, I can forward the
Okay.
agenda to you.
I don't, oh, and then one more, I guess there was one more, a committee that, where's the band and grade? Where's that? Did you take that one off, Peggy, or is that? Band, there was a band and grade review committee,
Yeah, we don't have that.
and we don't have the band and grade. But do we need a committee to review the job descriptions for, and anything else, our comp study? We have a consultant, all that is doing that and working with,
We could probably run those through committees
yeah.
The committees where they.
that exist, where they come from.
And that's what we've been doing, is running those through the committees that, or those jobs exist in, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a need
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
I didn't either, okay.
And then are you adding the White Earth?
Oh, yeah, the we committee.
Yeah. It's been Bearberg and Jepson.
Oh, it's been, you, Richard, yeah.
Yep.
Yep, Richard and I.
And then, I guess there's one more, sorry. It's in red. So on the Fair Board Committee, Commissioner Jepson expressed interest to be on that in place of Phil, and I think we talked about that before, and that was okay, so that's okay with both of you then. We're good with that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Does anybody have any other things on the committees they would like to discuss?
Just a note on the bottom that any and all board members may serve as alternate as needed.
Yep.
So what does that mean? That means if you can't make it to your meeting, is that your responsibility to ask the rest of us?
You can, sometimes I just send it to Carrie and to say that I can't make this meeting if, see if any other board members. So sometimes you just ask another board member yourself. So it's not absolute, you have to, but I mean, you certainly could give the opportunity to other commissioners to attend that meeting.
Well, I see you're on a lot of the watersheds, the wild rice and stuff. Having been on the Pelican, I'd be interested in going to some of those meetings just to see how they interact.
Again, and you're just their liaison. So like on the Cormorant watershed, I'm on their advisory board. So there's advisory boards that we usually get put on. So Buffalo Red, I'm on their advisory board. But that's their decision to put you on that advisory board. We put the person out as recommendation. I don't know that, like the Wild Rice, their advisory board isn't active. They haven't done a whole lot, but they usually ask for someone. So your job is then to be the liaison, and then you're on that. Buffalo Red meets once or twice a year, does tours. Buffalo Red, they brought the advisory board in to give them a recommendation on if they should build that new building, this was a few years ago, or rent something. So we gave them our recommendation, we discussed it, and so if you're on that, I don't see that we should be going to every meeting of theirs to, monitor, but we certainly do have that liaison and ability to go.
Would that be inappropriate then to go?
I think it's excessive if you're going to every meeting and putting in a per diem for it. I mean, you certainly could go to every meeting, but if you're being compensated, I don't think that's necessarily our role. It's those advisory boards that you get per diems for, unless there's something special going on at a specific. Now, Pelican's a little different because it's totally within the county, so a hands-on approach might be even more appropriate than Buffalo Red or Wild Rice. They're pretty large entities in themselves, but so I've never charged, I think to go to just general meetings, to go to their monthly meetings.
I wasn't thinking about the per diem, I was thinking about where I fit and where I can do some good and where it intersects with some other things. That was my.
Yeah, because you're listed on the Pelican Watershed advisor for, but yeah, and each commissioner gets involved as they see fit in different areas, their expertise or their passions.
Yeah, and as a commissioner now, I've been on the recreational advisory committee. I kind of know what's going on there, so that's an easier fit for me with some of those things.
And I was going to talk to you too, see as you get, I mean, you'll be asked to get on state committees and see what your interest is on those, and certainly we can talk if you have interest in some of my areas, if you want to move forward on that, certainly talk about that.
As we go, sure.
Are there any other committee assignments that anybody would like to look at?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the committee assignments.
So we have a motion by Barry,
I'll second.
second by Erica. All in favor of approving the committee assignments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, carried. Do you want to take a break, or do you want to go right on to regular business?
It doesn't matter to me.
All right, let's keep going. All right, so do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
I don't have any modifications or changes.
Anybody else have? So I'll entertain a motion then to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Phil, we have a second.
Second.
Second by Barry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got to get your cadence down.
Yeah, I know, I get a little choppy. All right, carried. So, minutes from December 17th meeting, does anybody have any corrections or changes to the minutes on December 17th? No
I
changes?
don't think I had anything.
The only thing I had, imagine that I have something, is under Becker Soil Water District, on page 3 of 3, where the first motion, we had talked about a couple errors, like wording errors in the MOU, or in the, not the MOU, but the plan. Is that something, did we want to have that in our minutes, or is that something that they're just going to, because Brian said they might have to go back to every county if we change some things.
Yeah, and I don't remember what it
I
was.
don't remember what our outcome was.
It was something you brought up, Barry.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, yeah, it was just the, I think it was just a wordage thing because there were two different wordages, but I think what's it, to deal with the tribal?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I think it was stated kind of more clear in one part and not clear in another part about but I think if it passed, I think we decided if it passed the lawyer's interpretation, it was fine.
Okay, all right.
But that's how the minutes read anyway, so
Yeah.
kind of left it up to them if
Yeah, it
it
does
was
say
significant
depending-
change that they would bring it back to.
Okay. So does anybody have any other issues on the December 17th minutes?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to entertain to approve the minutes from December 17th.
You'll entertain a motion?
I will entertain a motion.
You said you make a motion to
Motion to
entertain.
I'll
entertain.
entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 17th minutes.
All right.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, second by Barry. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried. All right, minutes of December 31st special meeting. Any changes to the minutes or corrections?
My only thought, and this might be a little petty, was under the open forum where Matt Davis, public involvement in the comp plan process was not as involved as it should have been. I just wonder if we should say was not involved as he thought it should have been.
Yes. Under the report, the county administrator report, page 1 of 3, Matt Erickson will be returning January 2nd. I know we all know who Matt Erickson is, but should we state what his title is?
And from
Veteran
where?
Service Officer
And from where, yeah.
from deployment.
Yep.
And if I just may note, Mr. Chair, with regards to the minutes, we did play the tape back and hopefully captured all of the modifications to the comp plan. And
Yeah,
it
I
was-
thought that-
It
I
was a
think
lot
they're all
of
in
wordings that we were able to capture between Peggy and I, so. And then, yeah, it was reviewed again, so hopefully we got everything.
Are there any other changes or corrections to the December 31st minutes? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the December 31st minutes.
Do we have a second?
Oh, actually, wait, I have one other thing.
Okay.
For under the animal feedlots, where it says to utilize the guidelines of best management practice of the University of Minnesota, I wonder if, I think what we had discussed more was not to utilize, but to recommend to utilize.
Yeah.
Because if we say to utilize, then I think we're going to have
Yeah.
to
Monitor
be
it.
responsible for monitoring it.
And that's where a lot of our language was changed.
Yeah.
Since we're in discussion, I mean, the Pelican River watershed are redoing their rules right now, and this best management practice became an issue because it came out, okay, is the best management practice, does that now become a rule or a law? And you go 20 years, was that Barry, I appreciate what you said, hey, let's not make this an absolute, let's kind of make it a suggestion to kind of keep your doors open, but so as a best management practice today will be different 10 years from now. So does that become part of what you're enforcing? It becomes very nebulous as time goes on.
And that's why we didn't want to be in the enforcement end of it. We just wanted to be, this is recommended for best management because they will, and they may get to a point where we don't want to recommend them. You never know. as a board. Our differences may be significant, but today's function is just recognizing what we went through at our last meeting for minutes, so I think that's appropriate.
Any other changes? So Eric, we have a motion to approve do we have a second to approve the minutes?
Second.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, on to the consent agenda. Is there any items that would like to be pulled out of the consent agenda? Does anybody have any items?
I think just for clarification again, so if there's an item on consent agenda that we remove it, and then just, are we going to put it just at the end of commissioners or at the end of the consent agenda to discuss? I mean, we should probably.
We should probably decide where, because we've done it both. We should probably put it at the end of unless we have to have somebody come in to clarify, that's not.
I don't see anything today.
No, but like,
No.
for example, one time we moved something and we needed Jim here to answer questions, so we just moved it till he got here
I mean,
But-
I think it would be good to have a spot on the agenda
for that.
to say like
Mhm.
anything pulled from the consent agenda, just so
Would it be,
if it gets pulled, department heads know.
Yeah, it
when
may
to
make
come.
sense to put it during the commissioners.
Yeah,
forum,
maybe-
Just
Or
because you're going to have,
administrator.
oh, yeah.
Maybe after
that's true.
your,
maybe we just put it right in between the
Put it at the end of the administrative report.
administrator's report?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we can bring in whomever may
If
need to
needed.
answer questions or
Okay.
clarification.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, do we need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do you have a second to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Fine.
Do we need a motion to approve where to place it on the?
No.
Okay.
That'll just be a placeholder in the new agendas.
All right. Commissioners, open forum. Do we have anybody on the list? Nobody on the list. So reports and correspondence. Who would like to go first?
The only meeting I've had is just, like I said, the Cornerstone meeting, and they had gotten funding for the Family Resource Center. We talked about it a little bit at our last meeting about how, I think it was the tribal relations one that Barry had went to, had talked about the importance of Family Resource Centers. So they have received funding through a foundation to keep one going for right now 2 years. And so they're just really looking to see where the county can partner with them. And I plan on talking more with Denise about it, but.
And these community resource centers are going to be significant in the new laws of the state coming.
Yep. With the Minnesota African American Family Preservation and
Right.
Child Welfare Disproportionality.
And
Act.
that's the name of it. It's just crazy, this new law. But it's requiring these resource centers, and if you don't have them locally, you have to find, I mean, right now they're trying to adjust it a little bit, but this is a huge, huge financial impact to the counties if this doesn't get modified or if we don't have.
Yes.
So this is something that we'd like to,
So what that act really requires is, in child protection, you have reasonable efforts or active efforts, and really what that act requires is active efforts towards reunification, active efforts in removing children. So really that has a big financial impact. And in greater Minnesota, you don't have the resources available to provide those active efforts. So these family resource centers will really provide those resources to children and family services and the community. It's not something that just has to be used by child and family services, but I think it's going to be a big thing in Minnesota, and there is grant funding from the state that is available for that, but it really requires county partnership. So.
and what drove this is Minnesota is one of the poorest states in
In
outcome,
disproportionate for African American and
Native American.
Native American children.
And so this did get kind of bipartisan support going through. I mean, it just wasn't party lines. It had some carryover on both sides. So, I mean, I think the problem is real, but the costs, without without identifying cost, it could be a significant impact. Bill Stearns from Wadena, now, he just did some rough estimates, but he figured that would cost them, it could be up to a 10% increase in their budget. And 10% increase on one program is unheard of. I mean, so there has to be we have to figure out some solutions before this comes. And this is a 2-year, this will be coming in now, not next January, but 27.
Yep.
That'll be law. There's a couple pilot programs in the state in the metro area. But they won't figure out the problems for rural America, rural Minnesota. So it's significant.
That was all I had.
I just had Lakeland Mental Health. Of course, Lakeland Mental Health struggles to make money in psychiatry, but psychiatry is a program that they need within their programs to operate, as a full function. So that in every city that loses money significantly. But overall, we are ahead of budget, so we are positive where we are overall. There's Alexandria is struggling financially, or their unit, but Detroit Lakes is doing well. Moorhead and Fergus Falls do very well. And so we just had a ribbon cutting up in Moorhead. They have a new building. I think Detroit Lakes, I think they're going to start looking at this in the future of their new building. And we financially support Lakeland Mental Health through all the counties in the region they haven't asked for an increase. I think they did this year for like a small 2 or 3%, but they hadn't asked for increase for a number of years. So they are operating very well. They're one of the better mental health facilities in the state. So they're kind of and they've done very well, but they're very proactive in a lot of things. It's a real nice mental health agency to have operating in Becker County. So that's the only meeting I had, I think.
Richard, you?
I didn't have any meetings.
Okay. I had 2. So, DAC, January 9th, this Thursday at the Dashery, they're having a fundraiser for the DAC. So all of the clothing that's sold that day, the DAC is going to get 10% of the sales.
At where?
At the Dashery.
Where's that?
I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
Washington Avenue.
Peggy will know.
Oh, okay.
JQ Clothing used to be in that building.
Okay.
It's in
I don't even know what JQ
Norby,
Clothing
what's
is.
that, Norby's?
Norby's?
Norby's.
Richard and I are going to go. So
Okay.
Buy it.
They have men's and women's clothing.
Okay.
So either
We're both stylists, so. And then one thing also that happened in that meeting is Ben Grimsley has been a longtime board member of the DAC for 12 years, and he termed out. So his last meeting was our meeting in December, and I just wanted to publicly thank Ben for all the work he's done on the DAC board and all the time he's put in, and I think he was excited to be done. But 12 years is a big commitment, so I just want to thank him publicly for doing that. We presented him a little certificate that we all signed, and so he was pretty happy about that. So, then the other meeting I had was a RAC committee meeting, and we talked about quite a few things. Phil was at that meeting too, so he could chime in anytime. But we did talk about the Dutton Locks expansion of the parking areas. So as you come into Dutton Locks off of 59 on Dutton Locks Road, I think that's what it's called, isn't it, Dutton Locks Road?
Dunlocks Trail.
Dunlocks Trail.
Paved and then it turns into a gravel.
So across from the current parking area, there's about 6 spots there. It overflows a lot. So there's a need for more parking. And across from that is a little triangle piece that is possible, could be maybe 6, 8, 10 spots put there. There's obviously setbacks from the road, and then there's a water there also. The landowners are in favor of possibly looking at that and seeing if it can be done. So
They want to see a plan.
They want to see a
if we
plan
did,
first, yeah.
Because they were getting cars parking up their roads in front of their houses. So with the Dunlock structure going up, the new structure, we anticipate it's going to have more need for parking. With the bowling alley going away and something new coming in there, where are those people going to park? So, and there's also talk about extending Dunlocks Trail down to the Shoreham area with a bike trail. So it's just thinking futuristically a little bit. That triangle you were talking about, it's on so right before the Pelican River that comes underneath Highway 59, you take a right on the west side of the road. There's about 6 parking spots. It used to be a regular road. Now it's just a trail, so those 6 spots were built on the old, half of the old road. And the people can still go in and up to their places. But on the south side there, there's an area, a little triangle area. And then there's the trail that goes underneath the Highway 59, and then there's the Pelican River. So there would have to be some mitigation with
Yeah.
water and everything. But we
Water.
thought that might be a good place to put some parking, so it's, and the person who owns it lives on that road and was open to suggestions.
And there's gonna be a feasibility study done from Dutton Locks to Shoreham for the trail, bike trail, so that would be part of the feasibility study, is focusing on how, where parking can go and what landowners are, okay with that, so.
The other, at Dunlop, that, the building that Pelican Watershed occupies, of course, we will want to review the needs of the watershed and if that area, what's best use for that area.
I'm very aware and tried to advocate to get that building out of there. All the Pelican River watershed wants is a new place to put, they park their winter equipment in there. That's all they want, is a place that's, you know, not 20 miles away to park their vehicles, because then we could have a bigger plan to turn that into parking too. That building does not need to be there. So,
I think we've expressed that too, that's not the best spot for a building, but.
but it is their building from the watershed, speaking with my watershed hat on now, and all they ask is for a new spot. Where could we go? And then with that comes some funding. Who's going to pay for whatever happens? So.
And then the other thing on Dutton Locks is the shelter update. The shelter is ahead of schedule. The DNR grant committee staff did come through and do a walkthrough and said everything was, you know, pretty much good. They did say, though, they wanted to make sure that we had some handicap accessible picnic tables. So Mitch gave us a little deal on that. I can't remember exactly what they look like, but you can drive in there with a wheelchair. And then they also want to make sure there's proper signage for what created the funding, where the funding came from and how it's paid. They want to have a sign that states that. Yeah, I thought that was funny too. Another thing we talked about was the Heartland Trail. We actually discussed this at joint governors this morning. The bridge from Frazee, the bridge that goes nowhere now is going to have a trail now going to Frazee, and on the 16th, they're opening bids. Right, is that correct, Jim? And then they'll bring them to the board on the 21st, and we'll have the project ready to go, hopefully,
And
as soon as possible.
that will connect with Wanagan Park? Will that, so
I
does
don't
that
know.
just get into like the city beach there? Will that,
I'm not sure where.
I'm sure you can get there on
Yeah,
sidewalks
I
or
think it
something,
comes
is there-
in, I think it connects with the overpass, right, on Highway 10?
Yeah.
Connect right up with the trail just west of the beach.
Okay.
The city project ran a trail across the causeway there to the west city limits, and we'll connect to that trail.
So then you could get from there to Wanagan Park relatively safely on sidewalks.
And that's all I had, unless you had anything else about.
Covered it.
Yeah. Anybody else have any committee updates?
The only other thing I think is worth noting is we did have our joint governance meeting this morning, and they we had somebody about childcare, and the numbers for 2024 were 831 slots short
Yeah.
for childcare,
In Becker
and
County.
primarily in infant and toddler, so which is
I think,
what we've known.
I think that's the key, you know, we can't just throw money at these facilities because there is not a shortage, a significant shortage of preschool. I mean, because they're being sought after. It's
They are.
the infant and toddlers
Yeah.
that.
And you have the
that-
school programs now that,
But then she also said there are openings in infant,
for
for
preschool.
preschool. Okay, it was preschool, okay.
Yep.
But they can only take so many infant toddlers with number of employees, I suppose, or number of.
And they don't pay.
According to their license, you can only.
I mean, what I'm saying is they don't cash flow like preschool.
I got you.
So. Yep. You can have this if you want. Nate.
Mr. Chair, I would like to welcome Matt Erickson back. I saw him in the hallway. He is
Yeah.
back to work, so we're happy to have him back working. He was deployed and just got back. He's our veteran service officer, so he's back to work, and thankfully he's got home safely.
Yep. Any other? Do we have any appointments?
We don't have any, but we
We
will
will-
have,
we
so
will.
we'll have to be thinking about my replacement on the watershed, which would be
Yep.
an important replacement. And then the rack, we kind
Rack,
of
yeah.
figured out.
Yeah.
But Hank Ludke
Hedges
now
is-
is having some serious health issues, so whatever committees I know he was on EDA.
Yep. He's, yeah, he is.
And maybe Carrie can put out to the department heads and, our extended to see if there are any vacancies anywhere or any, because, now is the time, there are terms expiring at the beginning of the year, so we should look at renewing those if
And
they're.
there's still a spot open on extension also.
Yes.
correct? For district, my district. Yeah, I believe. It's been there for quite a while though.
Yeah, and I do have a department head meeting scheduled next Monday, so I can certainly bring it up.
But this can go out besides, you go to extension. I'm
For any appointments that
just
we're
thinking, yeah,
meeting?
other
Okay.
agencies that we have appointments
Okay.
for.
Sherry, could you also put out, if there are openings, could you say what the requirements are for that? Do they have to live in a certain district? Because I'm always kind of thinking of where a person that would be a good fit, but sometimes, well, they don't live in the area that needs to be represented. I know the RAC is like that.
Okay.
They have to be from certain areas.
I don't think they have to be, it's just,
It's
recommended.
it's the commissioner's district that commissioner has a choice to, so it's not, it's just you probably want representation from your district or, close.
But the watershed is,
No.
are you sure?
Your watershed, Pelican watershed, it's recommended, it's not required to be in different areas of the district.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that.
And John, do you know the Pelican watershed, the board members are from different areas, but it's not required. They just like a broader.
Yeah, it's not required, but the past is several lakes usually had a manager on there to represent that area.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Away from the south,
it's like Cormorant watershed. They would like to have people from other areas rather than just Big Cormorant. But sometimes if your good candidates are just in that area, it's what you do. So.
Well, I just know, being on the watershed, if everybody was a manager who lived on Detroit Lake or Floyd Lake or Melissa, I don't think that would be a good
Yeah, I think
picture, and that's why it's recommended, but you can't
Yeah.
find anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that, though.
Any,
One other thing.
Yep.
For the new committees that we're on, can we get when they meet?
Oh.
Like, I know we meet
Yeah.
monthly, but like, what days they meet? Just-
Most of them we have a schedule for.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
all right, any other committee or not committee, but or reports? Okay, Carrie, County Administrator report.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few updates for the board. I spent a lot of time last week with end-of-year reporting for grant reporting for the museum, and a walkthrough has been scheduled, which Commissioner, Board Chair, as well as former Commissioner Okeson were invited to. That was scheduled for the deed individual that represents deed to come through and do a walkthrough of the museum. So that is scheduled this month. In addition, I worked on grant reporting for the prevention of homelessness grant that we had received. As you recall, our 2023 funding, we did award to Mahubi, and the reporting for those funds was required to be reported on by the end of 2024. So that was myself and Cody Piper worked on that last week as well. The Safety Committee, I've referenced this before, that is a work in progress, but moving in a good direction, I think. So there's been a lot of collaboration, and I know there's been some reach outs too. We do have a contract with Safe Assure, who does our safety training for our employees, and we were just really trying to backtrack a little bit just to really see what we were being provided under the contract and what we perhaps there's gaps or lacking. And then the requirements for a safety committee for our county and, looking at those requirements and where we're lacking and making sure that we are in compliance with what we're required to do. So with Safe Assure, they've agreed to partner with our safety committee, and they'll be hopefully be meeting with the safety committee and again, with the purpose of making sure that we're in compliance for what we're doing and how we're running that, as well as, what they're able to provide. I don't know that we've utilized them to what we should have been in the last year or so. So that's a work in progress. And Cody's helped significantly and has taken the lead on the safety committee and has done a really nice job. So.
One thing I think they did do well, I think Jim had them over at the new Public Works building and did walkthroughs, as we're in construction. So I think they helped us out over there quite well.
Yeah, with the walkthroughs, but just in general, I mean, just an example of some of the things, looking at fire drills and, tornado drills and making sure our floor plans and exits and all of those things, making sure that things are updated on a regular basis.
And they are mostly just physical, right? They're not like IT, safety resources there. That's a different.
Correct. Yes. I had spoken with the board chair. EMC is going to be putting on a leadership training, and who they're targeting are the board chair and vice chair. So welcome, Erica. I don't know if you were on that was on your as well as myself, the administrator. So it's really is it three
There's
times?
three and then
two
two
virtual and one in person, and that'll be coming up very quickly here in January. And
The 16th.
Yes, the first virtual meeting is the 16th.
Yep.
The following week is in person in St. Paul, and then it's followed again by another virtual meeting. There's several topics that they're offering, so it's a great opportunity, I think, for Becker County.
I think that's good opportunities, but I think we'd have to, if you want it per diem, you'd have to make a motion to authorize. Now that we've set the list, that would be a per diem meeting for any commissioner that wants to join virtually or attend. So I'll make that a motion.
Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor of approving the motion to approve per diems for the board chair, vice chair training?
Mr. Chair, I think I stated any commissioner.
Any commissioner, oh yes, I'm sorry.
I think it might be beneficial for, maybe Phil might want to take part in that.
Okay, any commissioner to attend.
And me obviously too, and Richard, we could also attend, but.
I could come over to your house.
We'll do it in my shop, so.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
And Carrie, if you can get those links, and I did see that on my email, but Phil probably hasn't seen it as an opportunity, and you can attend one or all, or,
And he has did we get him the information for the new
Yeah,
commissioner
101.
training?
So Peggy's got me set up. That's January
good.
22nd through the 24th. I'll be going down to St. Paul do we need approval for that too then, or?
We've always,
Commissioner
that's always
Warren.
been
It's just
one,
been,
that's always been one an AMC one we've approved.
I mean, if we need to,
Do
we
you want to
can.
approve it then? Or?
I'll make a motion to approve
and that
Commissioner Hanson to go to the new Commissioner 101 AMC
And expenses.
and expenses
And per diem expenses.
and per diem.
Second.
All in favor of the motion? signify- Aye.
Aye.
And I was just going to reference, while Commissioner Hanson is down for that particular training, it does overlap with with the one session in person that is scheduled on the leadership training as well.
Okay.
I believe though it's scheduled in the same facility.
I believe so.
Intercontinental.
Yeah,
so,
I believe so.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to clarify for Phil's benefit that, so if you do have 2 meetings in a day, you only get 1 per diem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have extension in the evening and you have something else in the NRM in the morning, and there's many times you have multiple meetings a day, you only get 1 per diem per meeting. Now, if that rehab, the two rates, so if you go all day, then it goes to the higher rate, if it's over 4 hours. So.
If it's 4 hours or more, it's a higher rate, yeah. Okay. One other thing too is I had talked to Peggy about attending the AMC legislative convention in February. Is that something that we would want to also approve with a motion? Or,
We've always went to those if,
yeah,
with per diem, and I
Yeah.
don't know if that's part of, I think that's probably part of your AMC platforms, you know, that
That's what I was thinking.
we're on those boards
I would
and they
say
do
so.
meet.
okay,
So I think that's
I think
part
it's
of your.
just understood,
It's
yeah.
part of
Okay.
your job
Okay.
as that, on that committee, if you
Okay.
choose it.
The last item that I have is that there has been a walkthrough of the jail that's been scheduled with addressing the humidity issues that several of you have heard about that have served on the committee. So that is scheduled in January. So hopefully we'll hear some good news about what that all means as far as a fix for that. So that is scheduled, and that is with the Sheriff's Department, the company that was involved in that process or the build of the jail or with that system, as well as our facilities manager, and I had planned to do the walkthrough as well.
So
I'm sorry.
I didn't get to go through the jail when it first opened, it was gone. Is that something we can be part of? To say, I've never seen it, so.
Yeah, and I maybe
So
should
you're
have,
trying to fix a problem here, but
yeah, a humidity issue, but I think for you specifically being a new commissioner, I had
I think we
referenced-
just book them.
Yep.
Book 'em.
Book 'em. What I was hoping to do, and I had referenced this, and I don't know if you've heard this, but I was working on an orientation list specifically for you, and that would probably encompass tours of the different facilities and meeting with department heads, et cetera.
I think-
So that is probably going to fulfill the
Fantastic
need.
idea.
yeah, and Commissioner Jepson and I, we went to several places.
But yeah, just to get you on a rotation and a schedule and to get you information and familiar with.
just sitting here for 6 months, I didn't know the county owned some of the buildings that they own.
Right.
I had no clue. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Okay. Human Resources, Tiara.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The only item that I have for you today is one job description that was reviewed at the EDA committee meeting and was approved by the EDA committee. No real changes. There were some adjustments to some of the verbiage of state organizations, but other than that, it was pretty much the same as originally.
I'll make a motion to approve the Economic Development Specialist job description.
I'll second.
Motion by Erica, second by Richard. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, do we have any other career ladders in any other departments? I think like IT, are we looking at a career ladder and?
Yes, I can speak to that if, since there's several that we are waiting on our consultant to give the final say, but there are, IT is one, yes.
Okay.
But there's several departments that I know Tiara's worked with department heads to look at what their ideas have been, and then we've also gotten input as well from DDA. So those will be coming as well. I would hope in the very near future. You maybe have an update on
I
that.
can speak to that. So some of the job descriptions have been reviewed by the department heads and back to HR already. We're waiting for a committee meeting to happen to be able to bring them before the committee meetings, and then we would bring them before the board after those committee meetings. Some of them are back to DDA waiting for responses on those. And there are a few that are still with department heads that we're still waiting on response back from the department heads, and then depending on the changes, may need to go back to DDA and a little bit more back and forth review on those. So hopefully, I would say in the near future. I know there are a few committees that are a little bit later in this month, so probably not until early February timeframe.
Any other questions?
Are we reviewing all the job descriptions, right? Like.
Correct.
that's- and
Yes.
then-
Through
not
committee
just
and then
the
back through
ones
board.
with
Yeah.
career
And then,
applicants.
starting in 2025, are we reviewing certain,
There'll be,
Wage.
yes, we did, yes.
Okay.
We've talked
and we haven't
somewhat.
done that yet?
We haven't done that yet. We're trying to get through this career ladder and the final job description reviews. And then we will start the,
Maintenance phase.
yes, thank you. I was looking for the word, maintenance phase, and we'll be looking at a certain portion. We've had some preliminary discussions with our consultant about where we want to begin that process with.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Tiara.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that anybody has for the good of the order? Oh. All right, we are adjourned.